11 secret pleasures women have but hide from men. Psychology tips. Every man has faced that moment of confusion. You cared, gave attention, even gifts, yet she grew distant and you wondered, what went wrong? The truth is, effort alone isn't enough. What matters is seeing the hidden world behind her smile. As Pascal said, the heart has its reasons which reason knows nothing of. Women carry secret pleasures and quiet desires they rarely admit, contradictions that make them tender yet powerful, fragile yet magnetic. If you understand these unspoken truths, you won't need to chase love because love will be drawn to you. Stay with me because I'm about to reveal 11 secret pleasures women hide from men, truths that may surprise you, challenge you, and change the way you see every woman. Secret number 1, the denial of the forbidden. Don't underestimate this. Women are magnetically drawn to what seems just out of reach. It's human nature to desire what we shouldn't touch. Think of the child staring at a door with the sign, "Do not enter." That simple warning transforms the ordinary into the irresistible. For women, this instinct is often even stronger, and you must understand this if you truly want to grasp how attraction works. Psychology tips tell us that the forbidden has a way of igniting imagination. That is why forbidden love stories, whether in novels, films, or whispered memories, make women's hearts beat faster. It's not that they support betrayal, it's the danger, the thrill, the silent rebellion of it that makes love feel alive, urgent, and more intoxicating. A sudden playful compliment from a stranger, a quick glance that lingers just a little too long, those moments feel like stepping close to a line they shouldn't cross. And here's the key. It doesn't mean they want to break the rules. It means they're wired to feel a spark when rules are near. A smart man doesn't need to lie, cheat, or break trust to awaken this energy. Don't hand over everything at once. Be clever, be playful, create small barriers, tease her curiosity, let her feel she's brushing up against a boundary that you've designed. For example, when she asks, "Do you love me?" Don't rush to deliver the obvious answer. Instead, hold her gaze, smirk a little, and say, "I'm not sure I should answer that. You might get addicted." That hesitation transforms a simple exchange into a game of forbidden temptation. That is the charm of understanding female psychology, using dating tips not to manipulate, but to keep the spark alive. Love advice is clear on this. Women crave the feeling of unlocking, of breaking through resistance, of winning something not easily given. You must remember this. Don't be the man who lays out every card too soon, because fascination dies when mystery disappears. Be the man who knows how to plant those no entry signs, not to keep her out, but to make her curiosity bloom. The truth is, women love the thrill of resistance, the tiny challenge, the subtle game where passion feels earned, not handed over. That is what keeps them engaged. That is what makes them crave more of you. And if you master this, you won't just understand her hidden pleasures, you'll become the pleasure she can't resist. Secret number 2, the untouchable aura. What pulls women in isn't a fancy car, a shiny watch, or bulging muscles. It's something far more subtle and far more powerful. It's aura. Aura is that invisible presence, the unspoken energy around a man that makes people stop, notice, and respect him even before he says a single word. Think of it like gravity. You don't see it, but you feel it. And women, whether they admit it or not, are drawn to this silent force like planets pulled into orbit. Don't think you have to be movie star handsome or outrageously wealthy to create this effect. That's the mistake many men make. A man with true aura doesn't rely on the surface. He walks tall, he looks steady, and when he speaks, his voice carries calm authority, not desperation. That is what makes him stand apart. Women sense this strength in ways men often underestimate. It's magnetic. It makes them feel secure, but at the same time, deeply attracted. If your goal is to attract women, remember this. Aura beats appearance every single time. Picture this. One man enters a room quietly, yet somehow the whole room shifts. Eyes turn, people make space. His presence speaks louder than his words. Then another man comes in, loud, overdressed, overeager, trying too hard, and nobody takes him seriously. Which one do you think women want to stand beside? Aura cannot be faked. Don't even try. It comes from within, rooted in self-confidence, emotional control, and the calm assurance of a man who knows exactly who he is. This is why so many women are drawn to seasoned men, men who have lived through storms, stumbled, and stood back up again. That resilience, that quiet mastery of self, builds the aura no cologne or outfit could ever replace. It's the hallmark of true masculinity. And here's the truth. When a man carries that aura, women don't just want him, they admire him, they respect him, and they fight to keep him. That's not just love psychology, it's primal attraction at work. So don't chase approval. Don't try to impress with empty gestures. Build yourself. Be disciplined. Control your reactions. Live by your values every single day. Your aura is your armor, your signal, your silent power. That's how you achieve real relationship goals. When you cultivate an untouchable aura, you won't just attract women, you'll inspire loyalty, pride, and desire in a way that no flashy trick could ever compete with. Secret number 3, the obsession of being unsettled. Don't ignore this truth. Women may seek safety, but if everything is predictable, they will eventually grow restless. Certainty without challenge turns love into routine, and routine kills passion. The paradox is clear. They need to feel secure, yet they secretly crave a little doubt, a little fire, a little reminder that love must be nurtured to stay alive. You must understand this, or risk being the man who is stable but invisible. Marcus Aurelius, the great modern Stoic inspiration for many, once said, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." The same applies to love. If you think giving her total safety is enough, you're blind to the perspective that safety without spark is emptiness. Don't always reply instantly. Don't always drop your life just to prove devotion. That is not love, that is surrender. Women don't fall for men who are always available, they fall for men who are worth chasing. When you live with purpose, when you cultivate passions beyond her, when you follow your own discipline like an old Stoic rooted in principle, she cannot help but wonder, what is he doing now? Why am I not in his thoughts at this exact second? That curiosity is the seed of obsession. That is how you remain unforgettable. Psychology teaches us about intermittent reinforcement, the most powerful form of motivation. It's the same logic that keeps people hooked on games of chance. Not knowing when the reward comes makes the reward addictive. Apply this wisely to love. Don't become a predictable robot. Break patterns. Surprise her. Instead of a bland goodnight text every day, leave silence once, then send something unpredictable the next morning, like, "I saw something yesterday that reminded me of you." That one change will stir her heart more than 100 repetitive gestures. Seneca, the old Stoic master, taught, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Wasting it on predictability is one of those mistakes. Don't waste your time. Don't waste her passion. Lesson: balance stability with surprise. Be strong enough to be trusted, but mysterious enough to keep her guessing. Be reliable, but never robotic. Be disciplined, but never dull. Modern Stoic men know this truth. Certainty is comfort, but uncertainty is desire. Old Stoic wisdom reminds us that the middle ground between safety and risk is where strength is forged. Let your love carry both, shelter and storm, trust and tension, order and unpredictability. That is what keeps her addicted. That is what keeps you in control. That is what makes your presence unforgettable. If you found this insight valuable, give this video a like, share it with someone who could use these psychology tips, and subscribe for more wisdom on love and relationships. Remember, Love is not about being predictable. It's about balancing trust with just enough mystery to keep the spark alive. Comment to remember, I am reliable yet mysterious. Secret number 4, the fear of being replaced. Don't underestimate this. It is one of the deepest, most hidden pleasures women have, but will never admit out loud. Every woman wants to feel like she is irreplaceable, the one no one else could ever compete with. That is her secret desire. But here's the paradox. The very fear of being replaced often pulls her closer, makes her love harder, makes her fight to keep you. Psychology tips prove it. Scarcity creates value. If something is impossible to replace, it becomes priceless. That is why you must never become ordinary in her eyes. Don't let yourself go. Don't lose your edge. Don't allow routine to strip away the man she first fell for. When you stop taking care of yourself, stop chasing ambition, stop showing strength, she doesn't just lose pride in you, she loses urgency to protect the relationship. But when you sharpen your body, sharpen your mind, sharpen your presence, she feels both pride and a subtle tension because she knows the world notices too. That tension is not poison, it is fuel. It makes her hold on tighter. Think about it when she asks, "Do you still find me attractive?" Or "Would you ever look at someone else?" These are not casual questions. These are little tests born from that hidden fear. She wants your reassurance, yes, but even more, she wants the reminder that you could have options, yet you are still choosing her. That is the paradox of love advice at its core. Women don't want men with no options. They want men who have options but stay loyal. Dating tips often ignore this, but it's the truth. Women are drawn to men who are admired by others because it confirms their choice. Picture this. You're at a dinner, and another woman compliments your shirt or your smile. Your partner laughs politely, but later she pulls you closer, grips your hand tighter, maybe even kisses you with more fire. That tiny spark of jealousy came straight from her fear of being replaced. But notice it didn't make her leave, it made her claim you with even greater passion. Lesson: never be bland. Be the man who grows sharper with time, not duller. Build your value physically, mentally, socially. Stay ambitious, stay respected, stay desirable. You must understand this. When you are the kind of man other women admire, your woman will fight harder to make sure you stay hers. That is not a weakness of love. That is the strength of it. The fear of being replaced doesn't destroy love. It keeps it alive. That is the game, and that is the truth. Secret number 5, the drug of scarce attention. Attention is like a powerful drug. Women don't just want it, they crave it. But here's the twist. The overdose kills the thrill. Too much attention feels cheap, routine, predictable. Scarce attention, on the other hand, becomes priceless. That is the paradox of desire. When something is rare, the human brain assigns it more value. This is love psychology in action. If you want to attract women and build deeper relationship goals, you must understand this. Think about texting. If you send the same good morning and good night every single day, it becomes wallpaper, nice but unnoticed. Now picture this. You skip the usual pattern, and later, in the middle of her stressful workday, she suddenly gets a message from you that says, "Just saw something that made me think of you." That tiny disruption hits like a spark in the dark. It interrupts her world, lingers in her thoughts, and makes her wonder about you. That's not ordinary, it's unforgettable. Scarcity creates impact. A glance at just the right moment, a compliment when she least expects it, a touch when she feels vulnerable. These moments matter far more than 1,000 predictable gestures. It's not about withholding love or playing cruel games. Don't get this wrong. It's about being intentional. Don't cheapen your presence by flooding her with constant validation. Be selective. Be deliberate. That is what makes your attention magnetic. Imagine walking with her through a crowded room. You don't need to shower her with compliments every 5 minutes. But at a quiet, almost unnoticed moment, when no one is looking, you lean in and whisper, "The way you laugh tonight, it's driving me crazy." That single line will echo in her mind for days. She'll replay it over and over, and that memory becomes more addictive than anything money can buy. Lesson: don't drown her in endless attention. Make every drop of your presence feel like gold. When your attention becomes a rare reward, women will crave it with the same hunger an addict feels for her next fix. This is how you attract women without trying too hard, how you use love psychology not as a trick, but as a deep understanding of human desire. And if your true relationship goals are connection and intimacy, then remember, scarcity is not about less love, it's about more meaning. Secret number 6, the stripping of the mind. If you want to master relationships with women, you must understand this with absolute clarity. Women don't just long for a man's touch on their skin, they crave the rare man who can touch their soul. Don't be shallow. Don't get stuck at the surface with small talk like, "How was your day?" or "What did you eat?" These are fine for acquaintances, but they don't create fire, they don't build intimacy, they don't make you unforgettable. A woman's hidden fears, her buried dreams, her unspoken thoughts, those are the treasures locked away, and the man who dares to enter that world becomes impossible to replace. Ask her the questions no one else has the courage to ask. What dream have you never said out loud? What is the one thing you're most afraid of losing? These are the keys to her inner life. Remember what Socrates said: the unexamined life is not worth living. If you bring that examination to her inner world, you make her feel alive in ways most men never will. That is the paradox. When a woman feels mentally stripped, she does not feel weaker, she feels stronger, she feels seen, she feels connected, she feels liberated because someone finally looked deeper than her smile. Don't try to fix her every word. Don't rush to fill the silence. Just listen. Just hold her gaze. Just create the space where she can reveal something she thought she'd never confess. In that moment, you stop being just a partner. You become her anchor, her confidant, her addiction. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great old Stoic leaders, reminded us that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When you touch her thoughts, you shape the very color of her soul. That is real power. Modern life is noisy, rushed, full of shallow distractions. Don't play that game. Be a modern Stoic. Practice old Stoic wisdom. Bring the principles of Stoicism into your relationships: patience, presence, depth. The modern Stoic doesn't just survive the noise, he cuts through it, he listens, he anchors. You must stop living on the surface. You must dare to go deep. You must understand that victory in love is not about conquering her body, but about unlocking her mind. In doing so, you don't just attract her, you bind her to you in ways she cannot explain. The man who strips her mind is the man she will never forget. And that, my friend, is the essence of mastery. If you found this insight powerful, like this video, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember: depth creates unbreakable bonds. Secret number 7, the torture of restraint. One of the most powerful yet least understood pleasures women hold close to their hearts, and if you overlook it, you miss the heartbeat of attraction. Women are not merely drawn to instant gratification, they thrive on the pause, the waiting, the almost, because restraint creates anticipation, and anticipation is the fuel of desire. Think about it. Every unforgettable kiss you've ever seen on screen, the ones that left entire theaters holding their breath, never happened in the first rushed moment. They were the ones teased out with stolen glances, denied until the last second, stretched into an ache that exploded when lips finally met. That's not coincidence. It's psychology tips in action. Restraint multiplies passion. The same is true in your own life. Picture this. You're walking beside her under a night sky, the moon above casting shadows on the sidewalk. You could grab her hand immediately, but instead, you let your shoulder brush hers, let your fingers hover close without touching, hold her gaze a second longer than necessary. Each pause builds a storm inside her, a rising tension that transforms the eventual touch into fireworks. That is the secret women rarely say out loud. They don't just crave the moment, they crave the build-up to the moment. And it's not only physical restraint that matters, it's also emotional pacing. Pour your heart out too fast, reveal every layer in one night, and you rob her of the mystery, the wonder, the slow unveiling of who you are. But if you share yourself gradually, if you let her peel back the layers of your soul like pages in a book, she savors every discovery. That is love advice most men ignore. Don't empty the treasure chest all at once. Let her find the jewels over time, because what is rare is valued more deeply. Psychologists call it delayed gratification, and it's a principle that applies everywhere, from career success to romance. Humans, by nature, value most what they must wait for. And in love, women don't see waiting as weakness. They see it as thrill, as tension, as the delicious ache that makes the final moment unforgettable. Dating tips for men over 35 are not about chasing faster, but about pacing better. Don't rush to declare everything. Don't force intimacy too soon. Don't mistake speed for strength. Be deliberate, be steady, be confident enough to hold back. Don't give away all your attention in one flood. Don't drown her in constant texts. Don't suffocate the spark. Give her something to wonder about. That is not manipulation. It is mastery of energy. It's giving her the gift of suspense, the chance to feel her own pulse quicken with curiosity and desire. You must understand, women are not running away from restraint. They are leaning into it, because anticipation is its own form of pleasure. That's why the best love stories, both in movies and in life, are slow burns. Don't mistake restraint for coldness. It is not rejection, it's magnetism. It multiplies longing, it deepens intimacy. It turns ordinary gestures into unforgettable moments. That is the torture of restraint, sweet and irresistible, a secret pleasure she will never admit, but always crave. So the next time you're with her, remember, don't rush, don't overshare, don't burn the fire too quickly. Hold back just enough to keep the air electric. Let her feel the pause. Let her savor the almost. Because in that waiting, you are not losing her. You are making yourself unforgettable. Secret number 8, the hunger for mystery. Predictability is poison. Don't forget that. When a man becomes too easy to read, too transparent, he kills the spark before it has even begun to burn. Women need mystery, not deception, not childish games, but real mystery, the kind that makes her feel there's always another chapter in your story waiting to be uncovered. That is one of the deepest truths in love psychology. A man who reveals everything too quickly is like a movie trailer that gives away the ending. Why would anyone stay for the whole show? Mystery works because it ignites imagination. When you want to attract women, you must give them the space to wonder, to question, to anticipate. A woman can't stop thinking about the part of you she hasn't figured out yet. It's like holding a book where the ending hasn't been spoiled. Every page keeps her hooked. Every pause builds tension. Curiosity is fuel, and you must learn how to let her curiosity work for you. Picture this. You're on a date. Instead of spilling your entire life story in one sitting, you pause mid-sentence, smile, and say, "That's a story for another time. Trust me, you'll want to hear it." In that single moment, you're not just talking, you're writing suspense into her memory. Or imagine you have a hidden talent. Maybe you play an instrument, maybe you cook a dish she's never even heard of, and you don't brag about it. You let her discover it naturally one day. And the surprise doesn't just impress her, it fascinates her. That is the magic of mystery. It doesn't shout, it whispers, and whispers travel deeper into the heart. Being mysterious doesn't mean being secretive or distant. Don't mistake the two. A mysterious man isn't someone who hides. He's someone who expands. He lives a layered life filled with interests, passions, friendships, goals, and stories that unfold like a series. When a woman realizes there's always more to peel back, more to experience, She leans in instead of stepping away. She doesn't want to leave the book half read. She wants the next chapter, the next discovery, the next layer of you. This is where relationship goals truly come alive. Don't try to build connection by laying everything bare on the first day. That's comfort. That's routine. Comfort has its place, but mystery keeps desire breathing. When you create that balance, stability with just enough unpredictability, you become the man she cannot stop thinking about. And that hunger for more keeps her attached far longer than simple convenience ever could. The lesson is simple, but powerful. Don't be an open book spilled out on the table in one sitting. Be a novel with chapters worth waiting for. Let her turn the pages slowly. Let her wonder what's behind the next scene. Let her imagination chase what her eyes cannot see. Mystery is the oxygen of attraction, and without oxygen, the fire dies. If your goal is to attract women, understand this law of love psychology. The less predictable you are, the more unforgettable you become. So stop trying to prove everything in the first conversation. Stop thinking that showing all your cards wins her over. It doesn't. She doesn't want to play a game she's already solved. She wants to explore a man who is still unfolding. That is how you build not just interest, but lasting desire. And in the end, isn't that the foundation of true relationship goals? Secret number 9, the thrill of victory. One of the deepest pleasures women rarely speak about but always feel, because women don't just want love handed to them, they want to earn it. They want to feel they conquered something valuable, and that is you. Don't forget what Napoleon once said, victory belongs to the most persevering. Women want to persevere in the pursuit of a man worth keeping, not one who gives himself away without demand, without standards, without challenge. If you're too easy, always available, always agreeable, you strip her of that primal satisfaction. She may like you, but she won't value you. That is the truth. Think of two men. The first gives himself instantly, no boundaries, no standards, no spine. The second stands firm, carries himself with discipline, chooses carefully who enters his circle. Which man do you think ignites her passion? Which man makes her feel triumphant when she wins his heart? The answer is obvious. This is where modern Stoic thinking meets old Stoic wisdom. Control yourself, guard your value, live with principle, and you command respect. A modern Stoic understands that love without effort loses meaning, and an old Stoic would tell you that discipline is desire refined. In evolution, winning the strong male meant survival, and that instinct hasn't disappeared. Today it translates into pride, passion, and loyalty when she feels she has won you over others. Don't confuse this with endless games or cruel distance. Because she doesn't want to chase forever, she simply wants to feel your affection was earned, not scattered like spare change. Keep your value high. Don't sell yourself cheap. Don't bend every time for comfort's sake. You must hold your ground, because when she sees you could have anyone but chose her, her pride turns to fire, and that fire keeps her fighting for you long after the honeymoon fades. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior, Marcus Aurelius said, and in love, the same principle applies. Conquer your need to please instantly, conquer your fear of losing, conquer your urge to lower standards. That is the path of Stoicism, both modern Stoic and old Stoic, and it is the path that makes women feel the thrill of victory. Let her fight for your heart, let her win, and she will never want to let go. So master yourself, master your standards, master your life, because the man who values himself makes her victory unforgettable. Do you see now why boundaries are not walls but treasures? Do you understand why Stoicism is not coldness but power? This is how you turn attraction into lasting triumph. If this lesson opened your eyes, don't just watch, apply it. Keep your standards high, keep your value high, and never give yourself away too easily. Comment below to affirm, I am the prize worth winning. Secret number 10, the heat of jealousy. It is one of the most misunderstood yet powerful forces in relationships. And if you want real psychology tips, love advice, and dating tips that actually work, then pay attention because this is where men often fail or win big. Jealousy, when uncontrolled, is poison. But when it flickers in the right dose, it's like fire to gasoline. It ignites passion, it sharpens her attention, and it reminds her that you are not just a man she happens to have. You are a man worth keeping, a man other women notice. That is the truth. Women secretly crave this subtle spark, not because they want drama, but because it affirms value. Picture this. You're at a dinner, relaxed, confident, not seeking attention, and another woman, without knowing, gives you a compliment on your style or your presence. Suddenly, your partner shifts closer, her hand finds your arm, her voice grows livelier, and her eyes scan you with new hunger. That's the psychology at play. Jealousy awakens possession, not in a toxic sense, but in a primal, passionate sense. Don't miss this lesson. Jealousy in small amounts is not weakness. It is a reminder that love is alive. Why does this happen? Because every woman, deep down, wants to know her man is still a prize. That she hasn't just secured someone invisible, but someone others would fight for. The mistake most men make is thinking they must manufacture jealousy by flirting with strangers or playing games, but that is foolishness. It feels cheap, manipulative, and it backfires. You must understand this. True jealousy is born naturally, simply because you are valuable, because you stand tall, because you carry yourself with dignity, strength, and quiet confidence. When you embody that, attention follows you. And when attention follows, her desire to protect her place in your life intensifies. That is why your job is not to provoke, but to embody worth. Don't run from jealousy, don't fear it, but don't abuse it either. The right dose will make her passion for you burn brighter, but excess will scorch trust and destroy connection. Be wise, be balanced, be the man who doesn't chase petty games, but instead builds real fire by becoming a man of value. That is the love advice that separates amateurs from men who lead with power. Jealousy can either ruin or revive, and in your hands lies the choice. Be the man who uses this psychology tip with mastery, not recklessness. Be the man who lets her feel the spark without turning it into a flame that burns down the house. That is how you elevate your relationship. That is how you keep her passion alive. And that is how you use psychology tips, love advice, and dating tips not as tricks, but as truths that create lasting desire. Secret number 11, the pain of being ignored. Few things wound a woman more deeply than feeling invisible. To be ignored, to be dismissed, to be unseen, this strikes not just her pride, but her very sense of worth. And yet, here lies the paradox. The very sting of being ignored in small doses can awaken her longing for you. Love psychology is full of these contradictions. What hurts her in the moment can make her crave your presence even more. Don't forget this truth. When you're constantly available, always calling, always texting, always leaning in, you stop being a man of impact and become background noise. Your presence, though well-meaning, turns ordinary. That is not how you attract women. That is not how you set strong relationship goals. Be wise enough to pull back, not in cruelty, but in discipline. Space makes the heart restless, and restlessness often turns into desire. Picture this. She sends you a text. Instead of firing back an instant reply, you wait. Hours pass. At first, she checks her phone with irritation, even confusion. She wonders, why hasn't he answered? What's he doing? Her mind runs wild, and then your reply comes, focused, composed, unapologetic. Just finished something important. Now I'm all yours. Suddenly, your attention has gravity. Scarcity has turned ordinary words into gold. That is love psychology at work, quiet but powerful. Even silence has a voice. Don't rush to fill every pause. Don't smother every gap with chatter. When you hold back, she learns to appreciate the weight of your words when they finally arrive. The pain of being ignored in measured moments transforms into the sweet pleasure of being desired. This is not a game of cruelty, it's a lesson in balance. Absence intensifies presence. The lesson is clear. Don't smother her with constant attention. Withdraw just enough to create longing. Make your absence felt so your return feels like a reward. If you want to attract women and build relationship goals that last, you must master this dance between presence and absence. When she feels the chill of life without you, she will cling tighter when you return. Remember, too much closeness kills mystery, too much distance kills connection. The art lies in striking the balance. Be present, but not predictable. Be available, but not desperate. Don't chase her shadow. Become the light she turns to when darkness falls. My friend, never forget this. Women are not simple, and that's exactly what makes them fascinating. Their hidden cravings, their fears, their love for mystery and attention, these are not weaknesses, but secret pleasures that make love with them so intense. The man who understands this no longer begs for love. He becomes the prize. He doesn't chase, she chooses to stay. So here's my advice. Don't fight these truths, live them. Be the man who leads with strength, who values himself, and who knows how to spark her desire without losing his own power. That is how you attract women, build lasting relationship goals, and master love psychology. Now, if this message opened your eyes, type in the comments, "I see women with new eyes." Say it and claim it. And don't forget, like this video, share it with a brother who needs it, and subscribe for more truths about psychology, love, and masculine strength. Until next time, take care and stay strong.